Hi everybody, just a quick video to orient you to this week's assignments. First off, I just want to say thanks to everyone for being patient last week. I know I got the module out late and I apologize for that. This week's is also coming out a little bit later than usual, although it'll be out on the day I said it would be out. Also, thanks to everyone who expressed their sympathies for in relation to the loss of my mother who passed away last Sunday. I appreciate your thoughts. So let's move on to what's going on today. Today, if you don't know, we are having our CEEF accreditation site visit, so that's another reason why I was late today. But hopefully, I'll be back on track for the rest of this semester. Okay, so three things this week, and before I kind of get into the specifics, we're really getting into the meat of this this course, and things that are very relevant in terms of your proposals are coming up this week, especially, but also some of the weeks coming up. So the material I think is also a little bit more difficult the last couple of weeks. So I'm going to try to keep with the same sort of quiz format. So I like the way the quiz seems to be working. The last couple of times, it seems that people are doing much better on the second attempt, which is good. First attempts look to be about 4 to 5 points lower on average than the second attempts, and the second attempts are getting decent grades. So I'm pretty pleased with the quiz. I wouldn't mind your feedback on that as well, if you're learning stuff from taking the quiz, and also that chance to take it over and trying to figure out why you got it wrong the first time. Unless you're just guessing the first time, maybe you are. Who knows? So we're gonna have this week will involve another quiz on Chapter 9. It's on experimental methods and quasi-experimental methods, and so like before, 20 questions, mostly multiple choice with a few true-false sprinkled in along the way. So nothing different or new there. We're going to move forward again with more thinking about your study, and in this assignment, what I'm asking you to do is to, of course, revise based on the feedback I've given you. Questions 1 through 8. Many of you are pretty much done with questions 1 through 8. You've revised them once already. There may be an additional comment here and there on the latest version of this. But then also, you should get fresh feedback and available on Canvas on questions 9, 10, and 13, which you answered last time. So make the revisions to those and complete 3 new questions, question 11, 14, and 15. These are largely about the design of your study and the procedures that you'll be employing in them. So this will be the prelude to the next major section of your proposal, which is going to be the procedures section. And next week we'll probably have an assignment where you actually write the first draft of the procedures, and your research proposals will be getting along pretty close to complete, at least in a complete draft form. So that's good. So that's the thinking about your study part of this week's assignment. Again, I recommend that you consult the instructions for the research proposal before you do this if you haven't done so already. Okay, the third thing this week is similar to other assignments, but it's also different. And what I'm asking you to do is to read an article that involves a non-experimental design. I'm not sure you'd call it a quasi-experiment. I think the book would probably call it a pre-experimental design that was used to evaluate a alcohol risk reduction program implemented on a college campus. So you would want to read that article, download it, read it, and what I want you to do, instead of answering the standard questions about it that I've been asking about research articles, is I want you to analyze that article in terms of the threats to internal validity. these threats are listed in box 9.1 on page 173 and include things like history and maturation and testing and instrumentation, all of the long list that comprise most of the chapter. And for each threat, and go one by one down these list of threats, I want you to indicate its likelihood of operation in this study. And use the following scale. It's not likely operating in this study, possibly operating in this study, or likely operating in this study. And then give me just a brief explanation of why you made that judgment. What your rating is, why the threat is or is not likely, given the design of the study, given the individual threat that's posed, that sort of thing. Not all studies are subject to all threats to internal validity. Certain types of designs and research studies are more susceptible to different kinds of threats than others. So I want you to read this article and analyze it in terms of those threats, and then do that in a document, and that'll be a standard document upload. So that'll be it for this week, and we'll move forward from there. So again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to email me or use the course Q&A discussion board that's available to you as well. And I just want to mention that I'm open to meeting with you about your research projects. It's really getting crunch time on those, and people are making decisions, committing to courses of action on those projects. So please, I'm very happy to meet with you via Zoom or Skype. Some of you are local. I can meet in person as well. But any of those will work for me. So, all right. Until I hear from you again, or until I hear from you next week, I'll sign off for now.